Okay, so today we are about to solve one, if not the hardest math problem that I have encountered in my entire life. So get ready. Ta-na-na. The square root of 2026 times 2024 plus 1. Okay, now jokes aside, how do we find the exact value of, let's call this, I don't know, e? Well, an approach is to multiply 2026 times 2024, get some number, add 1, and decompose the new number into its prime factors and go from there. But let's imagine just for a second that we have to find the value of the square root of 30,476 times 30,474, all of this plus 1. Now we can do the same thing, but the numbers get so big that it's almost impossible not to make a mistake. So in today's video, we are not trying to find the value of a square root, we are trying to find the pattern behind the numbers. Let's go back to our initial problem. So we have to find the value of e, which was the square root of 2024 times 2026 plus 1. So 2026 and 2024 are pretty close to each other. The difference between them is, I believe all of us know that 2026 times minus 2024 is equal to 2. That's pretty easy to see. So if we are looking at the number line, we have 2024, 2026, and in the middle we have 2025. Now let's say that 2025 is equal to some variable, let's call it x. Well, in this case, 2026 will become x plus 1, and 2024 will become x minus 1. That's pretty easy to see. And now our e will become the square root of, after the substitution, we have x minus 1, which was 2024, times x minus 1, x plus 1, sorry about that, x plus 1, which was 2026, and all of this plus 1, which will be equal to the square root of x minus 1 times x plus 1. We all know, I hope, that it's equal to x squared minus 1 plus 1. Plus 1 and negative 1 cancel each other out, and we get the square root of x squared. X is a positive quantity, so the square root of x squared will be equal to x, which in this case was 2025. Pretty easy, don't you think? And that's how we can eliminate the trouble of multiplying those big numbers. Now, let's look at his big brother, the square root of 30,476 times 30,474 plus 1. Well, we can do the same thing, but let's just say that we don't see directly to go for the term in the middle of the terms that are multiplied. So let's call, for example, 30,476, the first term, being equal to x. Let's call this expression equal to a, and we said that 30,476 was equal to x. In this case, that means that 30,474 will be equal to x minus 2. And by doing this substitution, we get that a is equal to the square root of x times x minus 2, all of this plus 1, which will be equal to We distribute the x into the parentheses and we get x times x, which gives us x squared. X times negative 2 gives us negative 2x plus 1, and all of this under the square root. Okay, what are we going to do from here? Well, let's try to factor x squared. Let's try to factor x squared minus 2x plus 1. We can try factoring an x from the first two terms, and we get x times x minus 2 plus 1. And now we are stuck. But wait, we have a 1 left on the outside. So let's try, instead of the 2 into the parentheses, the negative 2, let's try to have a 1 for starters. Let's try to have a 1. So x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to x squared, and we decompose negative 2x as x minus x, and all of this plus 1. We factor an x from the first two terms and we get x times x minus 1. And now we factor a negative sign from the last two terms as follows. We factor a negative sign from the negative x and we get x, a negative from positive 1 and we get negative 1. Now it's clear that our common factor is x minus 1. That implies that x squared minus 2x plus 1 will be equal to the common factor, which is x minus 1 times x minus 1. So in the end, x squared minus 2x plus 1 will be equal to x minus 1 all squared. Now the value of a, after all this calculation, will be equal to the square root of x minus 1 all squared. We know that x is a big enough number, so when we subtract 1 from it, it's still a positive number. That means that the square root of x minus 1 all squared gives us x minus 1. We substitute the value of x, which was 30,476. We subtract 1 and we get the final answer of 30,475. And that's it. Now we see that both substitutions work. First one is faster, but the second one gets the job done. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Take care.